So, quick little news. So, Thunderbolts. Marvel has confirmed the lineup for the Thunderbolts team that's going to be coming up. They're going to be doing a movie. Basically, it's kind of, some people say, Marvel's Suicide Squad, almost, you could kind of
Yep,
say.
and confirmed that Thunderbolts is wrapping up Phase 5,
Mm,
which I think starts with Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania next year.
yeah. So here on the team, you have Ghost, you have U.S. Agent, Ghost, who we saw in Ant-Man and the Wasp, U.S. Agent, who we just saw in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. You also have the Winter Soldier himself, Sebastian Stan, who's in this, Bucky Barnes. You also have Red Guardian, who people know who just saw in the Black Widow movie. You have Yelena Belova, who was also in the Black Widow movie. Yeah, and that basically kind of rounds out the team there.
And Taskmaster, who
Oh,
was
yes.
also in Black Widow.
Black Widow. So you got three people from the Black Widow movie there. What do you think about the lineup of this team? Um, some people just say basically it's everybody who does the same thing mainly.
Everyone who does is kind of the exact same thing.
Yeah.
It's all a bunch of super soldiers and/or master assassins, which I think for what Marvel might be trying to do with this version of the Thunderbolts, I think they're basically going for this is their Dirty Dozen or this is their Magnificent Seven type of movie. I do kind of wish we went a little bit more fantastical and had some of the bigger characters like Abomination. However, as his character arc on She-Hulk is going, that looks like less and less of an option.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people some kind of saying that you should have maybe brought some more kind of heavies, maybe a part of it because you do have a lot of assassin
And
spy type
yeah,
characters.
and also at this point in the MCU, which villains are even still alive to be a part,
Yeah, that was my
or which
point. I
ones
was
make
like,
sense to?
yeah, that was kind of my point of like, how many villains are even still alive to be a part of this team that you could have even introduced on it. Some people said maybe as like a tech person, you could have had Justin Hammer in this, the Sam Rockwell character. Some people also talked about Zemo, who I think Zemo's confirmed to be in this movie. I think he's gonna.
In the movie, he's suspiciously missing from this lineup.
Yeah, so maybe he'll be the villain of the film. Who knows? It would kind of, conflict with this kind of whole ideology of having people with superpowers. Doesn't like that, and this team is filled with people with powers, like the Red
And
Guardian.
filled with at least two, like Red Guardian and Ghost.
Yeah.
And I'd consider Taskmaster a superpower.
This
Taskmaster's skill set's a superpower.
is that a well? I mean, it's just like the suit, though, right? I mean, it's like the suit that's the power, right? It's not really her, right? So it's kind of U.S. Agent, Red Guardian, and Ghost. All the people. Oh, and Bucky. Bucky also. So it's four of them because they have the
I
super
mean, he's
soldier.
cool with Bucky. It was like he didn't have a choice in super
Mm,
super soldier.
yeah.
And by that logic, Ghost probably. No, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
But yeah, and you see kind of the image they kind of had there of kind of the lineup here. With you mentioned Abomination, you see him in She Hulk, and like you don't see like a reason for him to be a part of the team. For me, when there was rumors of the lineup, it didn't really make sense for Bucky to really be a part of that team because I'm like Bucky seems like he's kind of moved on from that type of stuff. It's like doing this. And plus, you know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, working with U.S. Agent, I mean, he just hated that guy right out the gate. He didn't even get that guy, he gave that guy no chance. Um,
Yeah, he hated that.
yeah,
Well, I think that was mostly because he was trying to replace his boyfriend Steve. Sorry, best friend Steve.
yeah. Do you think it makes sense for Winter Soldier to be here, Bucky to be here?
I think it all depends on how they write. I mean, maybe because of like a connection to possibly connection to Yelena, because I'm guessing Bucky at least knew Natasha in between like the 4 years where they were on the run between Civil and Infinity War.
Mm, okay. Oh, maybe. And then also you could have some good funny back and forth between him and U.S. Agent there. Who they said the leader of this team is going to be Yelena. You think that makes sense?
I mean, Bucky's a little too unstable to be that. Yelena probably would, just in terms of like we see a little bit of in Hawkeye of her coordinating with the other widows to try and track down the stragglers from the Red Room.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe if Zuma was a part of the team, Zuma would have been the leader, or if not him, U.S. Agent would have been, since he's the Captain America insert here with
Mhm.
this team. That would have
Well,
been
just, just from Falcon and the Winter Soldier, he's clearly
well. I mean, he seemed a little better at the end. He seemed a little bit kind of better there. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
and we clearly see Val Allegra Day played by Julia Louis. She's basically their Amanda Waller,
Yeah,
fuck
uh,
her handler.
yeah. Basically, that character there. It's funny because in this, you see in this lineup photo, you just have Red Guardian, who's the goofiest looking guy. He just go, "Hey, what's going on? Hey, what's up?" You know, everybody's giving like a serious look off to the side or something like that. He's just waving. It's like, "Oh, hey, what's going on,
Hey,
guys?"
hey, that's the charm of David Harbour. Also, he just got he just got back in shape. We saw him with a shirt off in Stranger Things. It's like, good. I look good. I get to go back in this superhero costume. Let's go.
So yeah.
Stranger Things.
Let me see. When is this movie coming out? Let's see. The Thunderbolts.
I think it's like 2025,
20.
if I had to guess.
Oh, yeah. So that's a little ways away here. Yeah, 2025.
Hmm.
Yeah. He said it's supposed to be capping off Phase 5. So yeah.
No,
Are you?
wait, so probably either like probably late 2024. It would be my best guess for
Um,
Phase 5.
it says right here. So July 26th, 2024.
Oh, all right. Oh,
Yeah, is when
that's
that's gonna
sooner than
be
I thought.
there.
But all right.
Is when it's coming out. Yeah. Are you excited for it?
Yeah, you know me, I'm a Marvel shill, so I'll be there probably. I'll try to be there day one for at least most of these.
All right. So some other kind of news come out of D23. They're doing a Mufasa prequel. Why? Don't ask me. But they are doing one here. They did show a little bit of footage over at D23. Mufasa, who was the father of Simba, if you remember from The Lion King, who's voiced by James Earl Jones. I don't know if he's going to come back and do the voice. Did they say that if he's going to come back and do the voice?
I don't think they have. I'm pretty sure the only thing that they have is that this prequel is being directed by Barry Jenkins.
Barry Jenkins, who did people know from Moonlight. He did Moonlight.
Moonlight and If Beale Street Could Talk, which I just watched for the first time the other day, and Jesus Christ, that movie's incredible.
Yeah. So kind of director who's had two big successes with Moonlight and if Bell Street Could Talk, two really huge critical successes. And award had two movies that both had a lot of awards recognition. Also, Moonlight will forever be known as the movie that wasn't La La Land.
That wasn't
So, yeah. So that movie will forever be known as that iconic moment in Oscar history, by the way, that you had there. That moment was great. I love that moment. And then the way that dude, when they got on stage, like he ripped the envelope out of Warren Beatty's hands. He's like, "It's Moonlight. Goddamn, here you go." Fuck. And they were like, it was like Jesus Christ. Yeah. So
it's an
that was like.
all-time Oscar moment.
Yeah, classic moment there. So you have him directing it. Does that give you any faith in the project that he's kind of behind the camera with this Mufasa prequel, or
Mm, nah.
nah?
No,
Yeah,
because we know Disney. They are gonna have a hand on at all times. It doesn't really matter what direction they get.
yeah.
Uh,
So
at least with Marvel, I feel like there's a little bit more hands off. Some of the more experienced directors, like they more or less let Chloe Zhao make the film she wanted to make, right off the heels of her winning the Oscar for Nomadland, and they were like kind of more hands off for like Sam Raimi, for James Gunn, for the more experienced directors. I think they'll like let them do what they want. However,
mm,
for Barry Jenkins, he has made two incredible all-time great films, but neither of which say you know what? Let's give him $200 million to make whatever he wants for us
Mm,
as a Lion King prequel.
okay. So this is via Variety. It says right here that in addition, in 2020, as a sequel to the 2019 film Mufasa, tells the origin story of the iconic Disney father exploring his childhood, growing up with his brother Scar. The film will feature the voice of Aaron Pierre and Kevin Harrison Jr., Kelvin Harrison Jr. as younger versions of the characters. Okay, so there you go. Filling in for James R. Jones as Mufasa in both the 1994 original and the 2019 CGI remake, and Jeremy Irons and Chola Ejiofor as the villainous Scar. Kelvin Harris Jr., that name sounds really familiar. Oh, I know this actor. Yeah, he was the actor in Waves. If you ever seen Waves, he was the one, the main guy there. Okay. So that kind of makes sense there. Yeah, in addition to announcing the style exclusive preview footage of the film was shown to the audience at the D23 EXPO. The footage began with Rafiki telling the story of Mufasa, the young cubs, revealing that the lion was actually an orphan cub who had to navigate the world alone until he rose to become the king of Pride Rock. As such, the film goes beyond the iconic Pride lands to show him as a cub in the desert, where he is swept away by a flood and becomes an orphan. In this place, a lion was born without a drop of nobility in his blood. Rafiki narrates the lion who would change our lives forever. I don't know if I ever thought I needed to see a story about Mufasa or about his life or about him being an orphan and coming back, but yeah, I don't I don't know if I ever kind of need to see something like that, but sure, why not? Whatever, I guess. If that's what you're planning on doing, yeah, uh, yeah,
Sorry, nodded off a little bit at that description.
yeah, because that just was, yeah, okay, sure, why not? And this is also,
I'm more upset that this project is gonna tie up Barry Jenkins' hand for the next like year and a half while this finishes up.
no, and presumably it would also be also like in the CGI style of the 2019 version as well, which yeah, I was not a fan of that. I mean, the animals they looked good. I mean, the animals themselves I thought looked good, but obviously the thing about an animated movie is you can't have an animal emote like that if you're trying to do a realistic version of what a lion or what a warthog looks like. You can't do that in that style.
It's like animals literally can't emote. That is exclusive to humans, and if you want to exaggerate, some dogs.
Yeah. So I mean, again, this you only getting this, you know why? Because y'all watched that Lion King remake and that shit made $1 billion.
Y'all gave that fucking piece of shit $1 billion. This is on you.
Y'all sit there and y'all watch that movie. Y'all gave it $1 billion, and they were like, "Oh, well, I guess people are okay with this. We can literally do the same movie.
Consequences, you fucks.
We can literally do the same movie over again. Literally, we can do scene by scene the same movie, and y'all will show up.
Just worse.
And y'all will show up and watch it. So hey, there you go.
We can do the exact same movie worse, and you will fucking pay to see it.
Yeah. So that's something for you. Yeah. So in other news, we have Captain America 4. New World Order. We have a villain for that movie. It is going to be Tim Blake Nelson, who's returning. Tim Blake Nelson made his appearance in the first time in the MCU in Incredible Hulk in 2008. Here he's going to be returning as the leader, which was teased in the Incredible Hulk film. He's kind of going to be back, which is nice. That you have pretty much all the kind of major people from that movie returning, except for Liv Tyler, who was the love interest of that movie. But yeah. That's kind of the only person missing. Except if they want to bring back Edward Norton, he should come back. He should come back in the MCU as another character. That'd be funny if he came back as a completely other character. Maybe he comes back as Doctor Doom.
Watch that be the twist of fucking Secret Invasion.
Yeah, that all this time, yeah, we just been, yeah, that he's been a Skrull and
been a Skrull the entire time.
What do you think about Tim Blake Nelson returning? There,
I'm all for that. Tying back into the early days with characters returning from Iron Man, starting all the way back in like Spider-Man Far From Home, where they had Peter Billingsley's like nebbish little tech guy come all the way back like a decade later,
Mm.
and even Trevor Slattery returning in Shang-Chi, and Tim Roth finally coming back in She-Hulk. I'm glad that these characters are kind of getting their due and paying off threads that were teased all the way back in 2008.
Yeah. And I have Tim Blake Nelson up right here. You can see him, who was in the movie, who, like I said, teased at the end of that movie him becoming the leader. So it'll be interesting to see what he's done in all this time since the first Incredible Hulk movie and what he's kind of lead up to. Do you know much about the leader from the comics and everything like that?
Uh, Not much. I don't know all that much about it.
Okay. Yeah. Because I know, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, the leader is like a big Hulk villain there, if I'm not mistaken. And Tim Blake Nelson, I love Tim Blake Nelson. I think he's a great actor, one of the best kind of working actors out right now. You can always rely on him for a great performance. I thought he did a really great job recently in the Watchmen series, which was a few years ago. I
Oh,
thought he was,
it's a crime he wasn't nominated for an Emmy on that.
yeah, I thought he was really, really good in that. Yeah, and you also see him in things like Oh Brother Without Thou. He was really great in that, which was the Coen Brothers film.
Even recently Battle of Buster Scruggs, which is incredible.
Oh, I need to see that. I hear that's really great. I need to check that. That's on Netflix, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
I have to check that out. So yeah, it's nice that we're getting kind of a villain for that movie in New World Order. This
Or
which
at least one villain announced for that movie, because yeah, Sharon Carter is coming back, and we already know she's the power.
yeah,
And I imagine she'd kind of be one of the overarching villains for like not exactly like street level, but possibly like government espionage level.
yeah, yeah. I like to see that, and also maybe Zemo. I'd say is Zemo supposed to be in this too, right? Or maybe there's some rumors on that. Yeah. Oh, this movie's coming out May 3rd, 2024. So that movie's coming out there, and Sam, he's gonna get his own Bucky. I mean, not his own. Yeah, I guess
His own Falcon,
his own
his own
Falcon.
Falcon, who's gonna be Danny Ramirez,
Yeah,
the from Falcon and the Winter Soldier, who we also just recently saw in Top Gun Maverick as one of the few characters, one of the few young characters outside of Rooster that actually got some dialogue.
oh yeah, that's right. I didn't even make that. I forgot he was
Yeah, he
in.
was fanboy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot that. I didn't
Yeah,
even
so
make that.
that's why Tom Cruise let him have dialogue.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't even make that connection. So yeah. That was Captain America 4. So that's kind of some of the main news there. And we're going to be getting into some trailers that were also kind of a part of the
Yeah,
news.
and they also like not. I don't know if it's exactly news, but they confirmed that Daredevil, and it's not season 4 of the Netflix.
It's going to be a
It's
reboot.
doing its own things. It's a soft reboot of the character, which, duh.
Yeah. Which begs the question, so if it's a soft reboot, 18 episodes, so are they going to like basically
Well,
like
by very definition, soft reboot is everything that happened before it happened. We're just like doing something new with that version of the character in a new environment.
yeah, because you already see he's gonna have a new costume. Where you see it's the kind of the throwback costume from the comics, where it's the yellow and the and red.
Putting the move, yeah, possibly putting the moves on she.
Yeah, and a lot of people were also praising Charlie Cox because they were saying like I think they were asking him on the red carpet or something about like could you ever see Charlie Daredevil as a slapstick type character? He's like no, never. It's like that's just not the character. You know what I mean? Like that's just
Yeah,
I always
it's
go
like
for.
even on the Netflix show, it was never really like slapstick MCU or like Thor: Love and Thunder type of comedy, but there were a lot of moments of levity throughout the entire run of that show.
Yeah, and they got a great
Like
reaction.
one of his main introductions was a comedic bit, or not bit, just like a one line. It's like, how long have you two been practicing law? What time is it? About 7 hours.
And they got a big reaction. You know, Charlie Cox visited our field. They came out. They got a huge reaction. I say Charlie Cox. I think he's like the most likable guy right now. Him and Wong are competing. I think for the most likable guy in the MCU right now. I would say.
Yeah. Hey, they should just rebrand the entire MC call it the Wong Cinematic Universe.
Did you like his episode recently in She-Hulk? Did you like that?
Very much so. Yeah, I'm loving She-Hulk.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, there's gonna be a reboot there. Because the Born Again storyline, I was like, well, they kind of already did that already in the last season of Daredevil, where Kingpin finds out the identity of Daredevil and kind of makes his life a living hell. So I'm wondering, kind of what they're gonna switch up there.
Yeah, season 3 was a loose adaptation of Born Again, but I'd imagine they draw more from like the Mark Wade or Jason Aaron run of Daredevil, which are much more lighthearted. Not like not like super She-Hulk level comedy lighthearted, but lighter for Daredevil.
Yeah. So when it comes to kind of D23, some people seem like they were kind of disappointed by it. Were you very disappointed by it, or were you expecting bigger news?
How many of those people were disappointed by the fact that the rumors that people pulled out of their asses, like John Boyega, Henry Cavill, Daisy Jones, Jodie Comer, all got signed to Marvel?
Yeah.
How many of those are pissed off that panned out to being a little tweet from a guy whose source was literally "Trust me, bro."
Yeah, yeah. It's funny. I mean, people, it seems like they kind of got their hopes whipped up. You know what I mean? To a fever pitch. You know what I mean? Over possibly, like you said, all these big names being announced, and we did. I think we did mention that also that there's a rumor out there that these people might show up, but none of them showed up at all. Like Giancarlo Esposito, Denzel Washington, you know what I mean, and also that they were also going to announce the cast of Fantastic Four and X-Men all at D23, which I think a lot of people were really expecting those two big announcements. What are you going to do with X-Men, and what are you going to do with Fantastic Four? Which to them and
Feige literally said, "Yeah, don't expect the X-Men for a while.
yeah,
We're still working out the kinks for that." But they did announce the director for Fantastic Four, which is going to be Matt Shankman, who was the director on WandaVision, which I think is a solid choice considering how weird WandaVision gets and how weird a lot of Fantastic Four stories get in the comic.
yeah. So, I mean, were you anticipating at least some X-Men new, more like casting news with that, or Fantastic Four, or?
Oh, I was expecting fuck all.
Okay. Would you say that it was a successful kind of event, or or it was just kind of
I mean,
meh?
we're talking about it, so so the event did exactly what Disney wanted it to.
Yeah, and it did release some good trailers. I thought as well, and which we're going to be getting into right now. So, the trailers that premiered during D23, big trailers like Secret Invasion, Andor, Mando Season 3, Tales of the Jedi, The Little Mermaid, and also Werewolf by Night. We're going to be going through each of them and kind of giving our thoughts on them. Also, there was kind of some other trailers that dropped, like Knives Out, the sequel to that. Also, the trailer for that dropped. We're going to be discussing.
A teaser for Glass Onion, The Knives Out Mystery, and for Black Adam, which looks like a movie.
Yeah. So first show we're going to be discussing is Secret Invasion. I think this is my favorite trailer that they dropped. It almost kind of gives Mission Impossible vibes from it, like almost like something you'll see like in a Mission Impossible trailer here. And if you know the whole kind of
The like unofficial title I'm giving to Secret Invasion is like Tinker Tailor Soldier Fury.
I like that
because those are very much the vibes I'm getting off that trailer. Going to like really old school espionage kind of thriller, which I think the MCU really hasn't done since like the Winter Soldier. They've been close replicating it in stuff like Black Widow or Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but both of those kind of had their own issues, especially Black Widow. But I think just this project, if they have this tone with the dynamic between Samuel Jackson and Ben Mendelsohn. Yes. And also, you got Olivia Colman, who can do no wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, which is kind of really nice. And you also have kind of some of their, more, grounded or government kind of characters here that you kind of see in the series. Like, for instance, you have Rhodey Rhodes, Don Cheadle, who's here. It seems like he's in a kind of government position, like a senator or something like that, maybe, or congressman. If I'm getting that right from the trailer.
Yeah, he's in a way different position than what we saw in the MCU movie.
Mm,
because I think he might still be I think he might be a cabinet member because I think he is in his still in his Air Force Blues, but I couldn't see what rank he had on because he might just be like secretary of the whatever the fuck or presiding over the Sokovia Accords, which might still be a thing if they hadn't been repealed during the blip.
yeah. And I guess you need somebody also to kind of fill that role now that Thunderbolt Ross, some of the actor who played him,
Mhm.
is now passed away. Maybe you need somebody to kind of fill that role now. Yeah, a lot of kind of conversation you see, Samuel Jackson has with Don Cheadle. Yeah, this is kind of what this tone of this is kind of what I wanted Black Widow to be. I don't think Black Widow had to
Mm.
be a big budget type of movie. I think you could have went smaller with it, made it more like a
Mhm.
Haywire, Hannah, Atomic Blonde type thing instead of what they kind of did with. That's kind of what I really wanted from Black Widow.
Yeah, ex- exactly. I think this is the story that I think would is definitely served better on a small screen when you can actually expand it if you write it like an actual television show. Well,
You have Cody Smulders, who's back here. You also have Martin Freeman, who you see here, who is the CIA agent, also here as well. Yeah. What were kind of some of your.
what I'm curious about the show is because a huge thing about the Secret Invasion comic was the Skrulls were the villains, and the Krees were more on the side of they were shady still, but still more on the side of good. I'm curious how they adapt that story, considering the twist of Captain Marvel reframes the Skrulls as, yeah, they were the good guys. They were refugees and victims of a war started from the Kree.
And what do you think? Do you think there'll be like the whole kind of premise of this is like there's a lot of rogue scrolls kind of going out,
Mhm.
and you'll see kind of Ben Mendelsohn and Samuel Jackson working together to kind of hunt down the rogue scrolls, or
That's what I'm thinking, but we're not given a lot of details.
yeah, which I kind of like. I kind of like the kind of the whole tone of the trailer there too, the
I
look of it.
like exactly. I like going into a mystery kind of film or a show and not knowing anything.
Yeah, and you also have Amelia Clark who's in here, who's kind of a big get for them. The Dragon Queen herself, she's in this
Hmm.
trailer, and
Washing the stink of that finale away with a Marvel check.
yeah, I mean, I think this is kind of one of the best trailers I've seen from I think these Disney Plus shows. I mean, it really I think hooks you, and it's coming fall 2023. Is when it's kind of coming out. Yeah, and to see Samuel Jackson really kind of more of a focus on him and his character Fury doing like I said espionage stuff is very interesting. And I hope it's not just like, hey, we're gonna do a bunch of jokes and then we can insert a kind of a bunch of jokes in here. I hope it's not nothing like that. I really hope so.
Mhm.
But yeah, I wonder how many episodes it is. If I wonder if they have that out. If somebody has the episode count, let us know there before. But yeah, I was a big fan of this trailer. I liked it quite a bit. Next up, we're going to be doing the Andor trailer. Andor, which is coming out in what next week?
I think so.
Yeah, because I think it's coming out the 21st, I believe, September 21st. So it's coming out like
Oh
next week.
yeah. Hmm. All right, I guess so.
Yeah, so they dropped their final trailer for it. I've seen some of the other trailers that they've done. I've liked the look of them. I think it looks like they put way more money into this show than they did Kenobi,
Mhm.
which I don't understand. But I like think you would put a lot of
Yeah,
money into more of your signature
yeah,
character. But okay.
yeah. I think a big thing of that is that this show is being written, created, and show run by Tony Gilroy, who is the uncredited director on Rogue One. He took over for Gareth Edwards after he left that, but too much of that movie was done, so Gilroy ultimately didn't get the credit for it that he rightfully deserved. But Tony Gilroy pitched the show to Disney. They loved it. They gave him free reign. And one of the things that he said was, we're not doing the show, we're not shooting it on volume, which is that projector tech that most of the other Disney Plus shows have used. We're shooting on location, which I think contributes to the look of this show and how it looks like it looks more cinematic than any of the other Star Wars shows so far.
Yeah, it does. It does look really really great. And how did you like the Andor character, Cass Andor from Rogue One?
He, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Rogue One, it to this day is my favorite Star Wars movie. It is the one where, yes, there was a lot of character shorthand, and the way that Cassian Andor is introduced, where he's just a guy that we literally see him murder a man in blood. It's was a very fascinating thing, and then towards the third act of that film, you get a little bit more character depth of how long he's been fighting this war, how filthy he is hands on, and why he's so willing to go along with a plan to steal the Death Star.
Yeah, I like that
It
it
was a
showed with
really
his.
fascinating. It was a really fascinating character. It introduces some much needed gray to even the good guys in the Star Wars mythos, and it doesn't hurt that he's played by an incredible actor in Diego Luna.
Yeah, I like these. You talked about the shades of gray, which I liked. What they showed, like, hey, it's war, right? You know, you
Mhm.
mean you're gonna have a lot of kind of morally questionable figures, maybe on both sides of it, and trying to do the best they can for what they do is right. And I kind of like that element, and I kind of like that moment in Rogue One, where he's talking to that guy. He's like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna make it out of here. He's like, oh yeah, don't worry, yeah, you're
Hey,
gonna be all
yeah,
right.
it's gonna be good. Right.
And it seems like he's doing it here again in this trailer. Like, there's a scene where he just like shoots a guy, like almost like Walter White shot that neo-Nazi just with a handgun. Like, I'm trying to go to the scene.
Mhm.
There was like a scene like that in the trailer. I'm trying to find it. But yeah, man. I mean, you got to do what you got to do in this, and yeah, I absolutely love the kind of look of it. You also have a lot of great name, kind of acting talent in this as well. Of course, Forrest Whitaker, he's going to be returning. What's his character's name again?
Oh, Saw
Saw
Gerrera.
Gerrera. Yeah. Who I didn't really think. I mean, he died in Rogue One, so he didn't really get a whole
Mhm.
lot to do there. So here,
Yeah, he
hopefully,
was a character that he was a character that was carried over from the Clone Wars and from Rebels.
yeah.
So a lot of his arc was already done by the time we get to the Empire time.
Yeah, so I would have liked to see more, of him, just like the live action version of him, Forrest Whitaker playing him. I
Mhm.
would really like to see more of that and kind of getting more
Yep.
to him with that. You also
Yeah,
have,
it's it's strange that this is the Star Wars thing I'm looking forward to the most, especially off the kind of ness of both Book of Boba Fett and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Just the cast alone that this is attached to. Others include like Stellan Skarsgård, who is always amazing. Jen O'Reilly, who played Mon Mothma in the prequel trilogy and in Rogue One, and the big get I think is Alex Lawther, who was the kid in End of the Fucking World and the and the Shut Up and Dance episode of Black Mirror.
okay, yeah. So yeah, and I like kind of like what we talked about with the Secret Invasion trailer, espionage. A lot of kind of people kind of going about secrets, everything like that, and a show not really focused on people with that much of special abilities. Like, because even in Mandalorian, it's like he's got literal plot armor. Like, he's got, what I mean. He's got what I mean, like super armor on and everything.
Hey,
Like,
he's got plot armor. I mean, Beskar.
yeah. So even with something like that, it's kind of like okay, But here it's like more just kind of more kind of regular, like regular people he's kind of going up against. So it presents more of a threat, I think, in real kind of real than people that are Jedi's, or you got like some special armor or something like that, as opposed to kind of in the other series like Mandalorian and Boba Fett, or the Kenobi show, which is nice.
Yeah,
Even though
you're
that
able to write. Yeah, you're able to write yourself out of a lot of problems by giving your character a lightsaber or the Force.
yeah. And even though with this character, obviously he's got to make it to Rogue One, but a prequel can be done right and can make you feel
Mhm.
tension, even though you know the direction of the characters, because you see something like that in Better Call Saul, which we talked about in our review. A great prequel, and to see what kind of like a lot of stuff goes. So, and some of these characters that you already know a lot of their fates, like we mentioned Saul Guerrero, we already know what happens to his character and his fate, or Mon Mothra. But you have some kind of other additions like Stellan Skarsgård that you kind of see here, like with his character. That okay, let's see what's kind of going to happen there, and it's going to develop there. Yeah, yeah, and you also have like the one woman who you see in the trailer, who's the Imperial officer there, the Nazi youth looking woman. here. Is that a named actress here? I'm trying to think if I've seen her
I
anywhere
think
before.
that's Denise Goff, who's playing that character. Uh,
Okay.
she's in a lot of British stuff. She was in a film recently with Sebastian Stan called Monday. She was on that FX show Under the Banner of Heaven that starred Andrew Garfield, and she was in that movie The Kid Who Would Be King, which was directed by Joe Cornish, which is shockingly good, but nobody saw it.
Okay. Yeah. And her description is a high-ranking Imperial officer who does not like Andor. That's a pretty just straightforward
Gee,
description.
I wonder why.
Yeah, like yeah. Just he. Ooh, that rotten Andor. Ooh, I'm gonna get him. Ooh.
that that be I mean Rebel scum.
Like she's. I mean, she's got the face for it for sure. She's got that face, that Empire face. Yeah.
She's definitely got she's definitely got let me call your manager.
Yeah. Like she's stressing those veins in her head. Like what was his name? In the sequel trilogy,
Oh, oh my
Brendan Gleeson's
god.
son.
Oh, Donald Gleason.
Dom Hall Gleason. Yeah. 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 I mean, I with this type of stuff. Listen, I mean, I take it as it goes. Whatever. I don't have that big of an emotional attachment. If it sucks, it sucks. If it's good, it's good. If it's okay, if it's okay. Okay, my life
Yeah,
goes on. Whatever. I
yeah,
don't.
I've kind of given up being emotionally attached to Star Wars.
Yeah.
However, when the shit's good, I will sing its praises to the high heaven.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought yeah, I don't I'm looking forward to it like I was looking forward to Kenobi. If it looks good, I like the preview they're offering. I'll say it looks good. And we'll watch the show and we'll kind of give our thoughts on the first impressions of it. But yeah, I mean, yeah, but it looks good. And they said like the first 3 episodes will drop the first day. So that will
Fuck
happen.
yeah.
I think that gives a great they should do that. They should start doing that from now on. Do the
Yeah,
first
follow
3 episodes.
the Amazon model.
Yeah.
Follow the Amazon and HBO. It works.
Yeah. Because this will be a 12 episode season too. 12 episodes. So like a
Oh
regular.
shit,
Yeah.
shit, even better.
Yeah. So yeah, start dropping multiple episodes during the premiere. 2, 3, something like that. Like She Hulk, you should have probably dropped like 2, 3 episodes. I could get it's only 9 in total, but come on. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's 9 half-hour episodes, but it could have used that like 2 episode bump to start.
Um. Yeah. All right, moving on to our next trailer, Mando season 3. We have a teaser trailer for this. This is the final season for Mando, right? This is supposed to be the final season for the character, right? I heard.
Did they say that?
I thought I heard them say this was supposed to be kind of like the final season. I thought I heard them say that. Maybe I was mistaken. But if I am mistaken,
Mickey is like, bitch, you know how much money that motherfucker makes?
yeah, because I was like I don't know how much more you could do with the character, but let's see. What were your thoughts on Mando season 3 trailer?
Shit looks good. I mean, I've liked Mandalorian a lot, and much more so than I think any of the other Star Wars material that's come out in the Disney era, besides Rogue One. However, every season I have problems with Mandalorian because of the way it's structured, more like a serial, up until like the last 2 or 3 episodes where they decide to okay, let's have a plot that connects from episode to episode.
Okay. Well, we were just remarking about Ando and how gorgeous that show looked. And then even though Mandalorian is a show that is shot the way that you talked about, like on the kind of they do that method.
It's shot on View, where they have the sets, the backgrounds played on LED screens behind the actors. They get a sense of the space. It all depends on how you use it. I think team on Mandalorian has a better grasp of it than a lot of the other people that have worked on some of the Marvel or the Disney Plus shows. I think mostly because, well, they made the technology.
Yeah. So I think it looks good here. I think it kind of really does kind of look good here, the way they kind of utilize it. And with this season, it seems like it's kind of doing. We mentioned like when we talk about Cobra Kai and Karate Kid, like in Karate Kid 2, you had the villain chosen there. Of like the whole premise of Karate Kid 2 was that it was Daniel going to learning Mr. Miyagi's backstory. Seems like this is what this season is doing. Of like the past couple seasons, we kind of delved more into like with Baby Yoda and his backstory, and like him trying to help Baby Yoda find his people and get in touch with him. But a little bit in season 2, and then in this season, it seems like we're fully delving into the Mandalorian culture and him, with his people, which I think is a really great element there. And you also see kind of some returning characters, Bo-Katan, who is now the leader of the Mandalorian people, and talking shit about the Scientology sect of the Mandalorians that what I mean, kind of have they said driven a wedge between Mandalorians, which I thought was kind of nice. What did you kind of think about that of like Katie Sackhoff as Bo-Katan here?
Okay, A, Katie Sackhoff, marry me, and B, I think I think that's a very interesting dynamic considering what we know about the character from stuff like Clone Wars and Rebels, and that yes, at one point she was a part of the Death Watch, which is what Mando's cult or Din Djarin's sect originally was a part of. I think that's going to lead to a fascinating dynamic that I hope gets explored more in this season.
Yeah. And then Carl Weathers' character, who's returned, who was in Mandalorian, his first season. It seems like he's now running a city now. Like he seems like he got a promotion.
Yeah, he kind of turned around the town that was at the start of Mando in season 2 and kind of cleaned up that planet. So I'm curious to see what they do with him.
Yeah.
Sans a certain block of wood that he no
longer. Yeah. Yeah, a certain person is not around anymore. Yeah, they're hanging out with Joe Biden, getting sniffed.
Yes, it's like sabotage a potentially multi-million-dollar payday to make some Breitbart movie to own the libs.
Yeah. So yeah, you hear. Yeah. So I'd like to kind of see what he does with that. See, it looks like he turned around pretty nice. Yeah, it looks really great. And so, and also you see Baby O, of course, their relationship as cute as ever. You know what I mean? I mean, that's always kind of going to be a thing between Mando and Baby O.
Son.
Yeah. And that is kind of really adorable kind of to see that. Yeah, I mean, this looks fun. I like this. And then you do have a character who is returning from Rise of Skywalker. Do you know that character?
Oh, Babu Frick.
Babu Frick. Yeah, Gloop Shitto is returned here from Rise of Skywalker. Yeah, like, I mean, hey, I guess it did his job. Since you know who the character is, I mean, hey, you do recognize him, even if people might know its name.
Those motherfucking toys.
Yeah, I mean, hey, even though you might not recognize the name or know the name, you do recognize the character because that's that small little shitty character in that shitty movie. Yeah, he's in this now. Cool. So yeah, you kind of do have that here. Yeah. So I kind of, and then Amy Sedaris, she's back as the mechanic character as well. Maybe she'll be better for me this season. Maybe I'll finally like her. I don't know, this season maybe.
Yeah, I kind of turned around on her in Book of Boba Fett. Sorry, in Mandalorian 2.5.
Yeah.
That like 1 or 2 episodes.
Which this is coming out in 2023, Mando season 3.
Was it early? I think it was like January-ish.
Yeah. Streaming since 2023. I didn't say a date on the trailer. Maybe there is a date coming out for it. If I can see it real quick. Yeah. But did you really like season 2?
It was a little slow of a start for me, but towards the end, I think they really pulled it together. Off of pretty much from when they introduced Bo-Katan into Mandalorian is when I love the show. Even though I do still think it has pacing issues, like I remember that weirdly weird structure where they set up, okay, go to this planet, find Ahsoka Tano, and then the next episode he's fucking around with Carl Weathers and Gina Carano again. It's like, the hell?
So February 2023.
Oh, so still early.
Yeah, so supposedly when it's hitting here. All right. So the next trailer here we have Tales of the Jedi, which is more of the animated kind of feature here. Here you see a young Count Dooku, as well as a young Qui-Gon Jinn. I wouldn't be surprised if they did like a live action Disney Plus series of like a young Qui-Gon Jinn. I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of get that in their heads. Also, you see Ahsoka, who's also getting her own live action series coming up pretty soon with Rosario Dawson. What are your kind of thoughts on this trailer, Tales of the Jedi?
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Dave Filoni's Star Wars Clone Wars series, which is what this show is clearly set in. And I think I love his take on Clone Wars. However, I do think the show has a bit of a structure problem where arcs and stories are kind of told out of sequence, which, because the show is inspired by the serials of the 1920s. And I think a really interesting thing that the show can do is delve into a lot of characters that we kind of have a bit of blind spots. Ahsoka Tano, she originally started as kind of like annoying super precocious kid sidekick character, only to grow and change over the course of that series to become one of the fan favorites of Star Wars. And seeing a younger Count Dooku, possibly seeing the beginnings of his disillusionment with the Jedi Order, I think is going to be really fascinating, because that's a story we don't really get a lot of. It was hinted at in the prequel trilogy with Hayden Christensen, but to quote Harrison Ford about George Lucas, is like, man, you can write it, but you sure as fuck can't say it.
I like that. I like a young Count Dooku, kind of seeing a little bit of his story. I think that can make for something interesting, seeing how he turned to the dark side, especially done in this animated kind of way. Also, you do have Liam Neeson, who's returning as Qui-Gon Jinn. He's going to play that version.
That is awesome.
So yeah, they're bringing pretty much everybody back from the prequels, man. Everybody. Natalie Portman, she got to come back now. She has to come back to the prequels now. Everybody's doing it. You kind of have that. And then, like you said, this is going to be an anthology animated series that's kind of going to happen. So telling all these different stories, which it did work for Visions, Star Wars Visions. That was well received.
Visions was a lot of fun, and it was a lot of fun. I can't wait for when they do a second season of that.
I think it's interesting they kind of do these different anthology stories about these kind of different Jedis. And you see kind of some other familiar big name Star Wars characters like Kenobi. You also see Bail Organa in this. And you also see Yaddle. Yaddle's in this. She throwing down. She got a lightsaber. She jumping all around like Yoda. Like, oh, shit.
Hell yeah.
That's the first time I ever seen her get her ass up out that chair in all the time I've been watching Star Wars. Like, yeah, okay, let me...
Which is like one of the cool things about Clone, because you got to see characters outside of Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Ahsoka actually get to do things in Star Wars. Like Master Plo Koon, he became a fan favorite character off of that show. Kit Fisto got shit to do off of the Filoni Clone Wars and the Genndy Tartakovsky.
So that was pretty cool. Oh shit, Yaddle, she's throwing down, man. Oh man.
Like, I get to do something.
Yeah, it's like, oh wow, hey, cool. Yeah, she's finally doing something. Okay, great. Yeah, so that was kind of my big cheer-worthy moment there. It was like Yaddle. Oh shit, Yaddle. So yeah, I think it looks good. I think it looks a good series. Honestly. There, and like I said, to kind of go back to that style of the Clone Wars, I haven't finished Clone Wars, but I did like a lot of stuff they were doing there with the story, and also when it continued into Rebels, I thought Rebels was also pretty solid. Which you hear they did cast a live action Ezra Bridger, they did cast one.
Yeah, I saw the actor. I haven't really seen him in a lot of stuff, but I'm liking the shape of that for Ahsoka. I think they cast that guy is Ezra. They cast a Natasha Liu Bordizzo, who we just saw Day Shift as Sabine Wren.
And then is Freddie Prinze, is he's coming? Is he kind of gonna make maybe an appearance? Maybe as his character?
I don't know. I think he's dead. His character is dead at the.
Well, he could be a Force ghost. He's a Force ghost. He could be show up there with his little insect goggles on. His blind ass could show up there. I wonder if you. So if your Force ghost, all your injuries are basically gone anyway, right? I mean, yeah, you're kind of like in heaven.
I
So
mean, I mean, basically, yeah.
yeah, because Darth Vader, he showed up and yeah, he was just as pretty back, and he went back to his prime when he was in his 20s. It's like he didn't even go back to being like they fixed it where he wasn't even an old man. It's like he was in his prime
Yeah, which
again.
is like such a weird thing. Just going back and watching the special editions where they superimpose Hayden Christensen, and he's still not showing any emotion
Yeah.
as a Force son. But
Yeah.
it was kind of cool. I'd be happy to see, but uh, I'm kind of over this whole like everything's got to have like a whole bunch of Easter eggs, and I think that kind of
Mm.
also because Ahsoka really didn't interact all that much with with Kanan Jarrus so much as she did with Ezra and Sabine.
Mm. Okay. Mm. This is coming streaming October 26th, so pretty soon. Pretty soon that this is coming out.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
and also on that cast you have Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Ray Stevenson, both have been cast in undisclosed roles.
Nice. All right. Our next trailer is going to be Werewolf by Night. Werewolf by Night, which is the Marvel project. Do you know much about Werewolf by Night as a story?
Not at all.
And this is, I think, maybe this up there with my second favorite trailer that we saw at D23. Probably because it very much, when you watch it, it's like even the opening of this trailer, very much like a grindhouse type movie. If you know the kind of grindhouse style, where they kind of did it, like Quentin Tarantino, Robert Rodriguez, when they did Death Proof, when they did Planet Terror, they had like these fake trailers that showed in their movies, which were like, made by all these kind of famous directors, like Edgar Wright and Rob Zombie, and showing off that kind of like grindhouse style. And it seems like that's what kind of this is kind of reminds me of, kind of like this campy, gory type style. Especially this is all done in black and white, especially too.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot like the original like run of, which I think this is 100% going for. And something fascinating. This is directed by Michael Giacchino, who we mostly know as a composer, who's done the scores for this MCU's version of Spider-Man. He's done the score for Doctor Strange. He most recently did the score for the Batman.
So he's making his directorial debut here, showrunning this series. With this, also some people were saying that also if you see in this trailer there that with the people getting dismembered, they're the TVA. So it does tie into a lot of stuff going on. You see kind of their outfits very like
Interesting.
with Loki and everything like that. So that looks kind of really interesting there. But I kind of really like that tone that they're kind of going for, a very kind of cappy tone. And the main woman, kind of the older woman that you see here, I just recently saw her in Licorice Pizza. She's a very good character actor as well. That actress there. And then people in this series, let me pull up their names real quick, because you kind of got a nice cast of people in this show. Yeah, how much are you looking forward to this series? At all there. Oh, so Nick's is out right now. But let me see if I can just pull up the names. So you have Gail Garcia Bernal, who's Jack Russell, who is Slash Werewolf by Night, a man afflicted with a curse that turns him into a werewolf, retaining his human intellect. You have Laura Donnelly, who's Elsa Bloodstone, who is a monster hunter. You also have here, in addition to additionally Jacob, Maya, and Eugene and Kirk Thatcher have been cast in undisclosed roles. As slated to appear in the series are Ulysses Bloodstone, Elsa's monster hunting father, who has become animated zombie-like being. The creature Man-Thing, members of the Time Variance Authority. So yes, so the TVA is going to be in this, and Man-Thing, who I think you see in the trailer here. Let me kind of go back real quick. I think he makes a brief kind of glimpse there as you kind of see the Man-Thing. So I think this, if I'm not mistaken, I believe this is his arm, if I'm not mistaken, maybe. Could be another scene where you kind of get a little bit of glimpse at him. But yeah, I kind of like that horror kind of aspect that they're kind of doing with this. And kind of having fun with that. Looks like very kind of experimental stuff there. So yeah, I can't wait to see it. That and Secret Invasion. If I had to pick two or one to see right now, I'd pick either this one or Secret Invasion. Would be the ones that I would love to see like immediately right now. And then this Werewolf by Night. Let me see when it's coming out. Real quick. Let me see. Let me pull up the date if one shows up, and the trailer here. Huh. Let me see when this is coming out. It should be, unless I missed it on the trailer. Presumably, I think if I'm not mistaken, it comes out next year. If I'm not mistaken, but I just want to make sure what the date is for the trailer. Yeah, just to get a better sense of it.
Hi. Yeah. So Werewolf
October.
by Night, it's coming out this October. It's going to be a Halloween spec.
Yeah. So yeah, October 7th, I believe, is when it's coming out. I believe. Yeah, it's coming out, but it's coming out October. Yeah, perfect for October. Perfect there. Perfect timing.
Perfect little, just cute little short for Halloween.
No. All right.